Sugar Act that taxed sugar as well as extending the Vice of Admiralty courts to all offences. Vice Admiralty courts. British royal courts talk about biased. Stamp Act, used to cover debt and troops in America, violates the Constitution because the colonies can't be taxed without representation. Virtual representation. British argument that the colonists already had a say in Parliament. Their request to have members in the legislature was denied because everyone is supposedly representative in Parliament. Stamp Act Congress. Congress discussing the loss of rights from the colonies and organized boycotts, peaceful protests. Declaratory Act confirmed Parliament's law to have full power and authority to make laws to bind the colonists and America in all cases. John Dickinson. Letters from a farmer in Pennsylvania. In 1767 and 1768, he argued that the idea of no taxation without representation was an essential principle of English law. Daughters of Liberty. Women groups who helped support the boycotting by spinning while making coffee and scarcely using imported products. Committees of Correspondence, organized by Samuel Adams, who set up to state the rights of colonies, which allowed patriots and colonies to communicate with the leaders of other colonies when new threats of liberty occurred, such as the discussion of westward expansion. Tea Act. The Bike was in debt, so England and colonies drank smuggled Dutch tea. The Tea Act gave the Bike a loan and cancelled exports in Ireland so that TWOUK'd be cheaper and people would not be smuggling Dutch tea. Boston A Paddy. Artisans and laborers who disguised themselves as Indians snuck into the Barber and dumped tea in the ocean in order to prevent the Bike from delivering their tea to the colonies and collect their tax. Coercive Acts. After the Boston Tea Party, England forced Massachusetts to pay for the tea. The Boston Harbor shipping was closed. There were no more town meetings allowed, and the Quartering Act was added on by mandating new barracks for British troops. First Continental Congress. Second Continental Congress. They organized the Continental Army, called on the colonies to send troops, selected George Washington to lead the army, and appointed the committee to draft the Declaration of Independence. Thomas Paine and Common Sense. A British citizen, he wrote Common Sense, published on January 1, 1776, to encourage the colonies to seek independence. It spoke out against the unfair treatment of the colonies by the British government and was instrumental in turning public opinion in favor of the Revolution. Lexington and Concord. First battles of the Revolutionary War, where the colonists beat the British.
Townshend, the command of government, wildly supported the Stamp Act, so he created the Townshend Act that imposed duties on colonial imports and used the money to pay the salary of loyal government, in hopes that they would promote the Parliament law more strictly. Townshend, the command of
Townshend's Act, which led to an agreement between Townshend and the colonies where they would only tax external trade but not internal trade taxes.
Representatives from colonies that came with the idea to demand the appeal of the intolerable acts and said that British should not have so much control over colonies' British trade they boycotted. And if the act was not appealed, they were going to stop export